And I want to say to Prophet Makandiwa and Prophetess Makandiwa, when I was in your ministry, I was very faithful to you. There were times you'd call me to your house for dinner. I would sit with you on your table. You would talk about deep things. You never heard about any of those things coming out. That's how loyal I was to you. And when I wrote you a letter asking you that we may talk, and you decided to take it legal, you destroyed my life, because I felt that you were people of God, and I believed that as people of God, you had a heart of solving matters amicably. But instead of solving the matters amicably with me, you said we would take you to court. And the brutality that you brought upon my family, I fear church because of you, Prophet Makandiwa. I fear churches. I fear going to church because of what you did to me. You destroyed the person that I was. I felt like you being the one who was called by God. You were the one who was supposed to show me the love of Christ, because me, I'm a Christian. I'm not called. You are the one who is supposed to show me the way. You used to preach about peace on the pulpit. You used to preach about, solving things amicably. But Prophet Makandiwa and Prophetess, you destroyed my soul. You destroyed my faith. You made me question a lot of things about God, until I met pastors who were willing to pray with me to the journey of healing, because the damage that you did to my life, it can only take God to restore me. I didn't sue you, Prophet Makandiwa. I wrote you a letter which came through Mutamangira and Associates, asking you if we could talk. And you brought your lawyers and said, we don't want to talk to you. We want to give you back your money as long as you have got receipts. When I brought out the receipts and you saw that all the $1 million, the receipts were there, you know what you started doing to me? I'm not willing to talk about it because of one person in your family who remained very faithful to me. Your brother was very faithful to me. He kept on showing me brethren love. Every time I was depressed, I would call him. I don't want to mention his name because I've got only one brother of yours that I talk to. Up to now, even last month, I was talking to him. Every time I had a problem, I would go to your brother. Even when my parents had a problem, I would go to your brother. And your brother would do everything in his power to solve problems in my family. Because of that, I would rather preserve the relationship that I have with him and apologize to you, Prophet and Prophetess Makandiwa. Although you know what you did to me, I'm sorry for whatever reason that made you want to attack me the way you attacked me in public. Honestly, what I wanted from you is for you, it had to be your turn. After being loyal to you, I expected that it was your turn to be.
So hold up a minute. Just so that you get this conversation into context. This lady was a financial pillar of this other so-called man of God from Zimbabwe called Emmanuel Makandiwa. He's one of the biggest. And Zimbabweans love this man so much because they believe. If you want to talk about gullibility, Zimbabweans is one part of a niche in the Christendom community that has been corrupted, that is so gullible, that is timid. Zimbabweans don't really have the backbone to stand for anything or to fight for anything. They are so gullible and very educated. That's why we always question these academic achievements and all these titles that people get from universities and different academic institutions, because Zimbabweans, they do not have the strong mental capacity to reason or to decipher where there's charlatanism or where there's a pure intent of preaching the true gospel of God. This man called Emmanuel Makandiwa, he is nothing of God. He preaches so good, but everything that he preaches about is heretic. Everything that he preaches to his gullible audience has nothing to do with the kingdom of Christ. It has nothing to do with the message, the good news of Jesus Christ. His message is centered on money. He's one of the pioneers of the prophetic and the prosperity gospels. He worships the god of mammon. He loves money like no man's business, which ended in this young lady called Blessing. She's from Zimbabwe, a very successful businesswoman. And everybody that ventured into business during the era, or in this era of Emmanuel Makandiwa, they always remit a big percentage of their profits to the shrine of Emmanuel Makandiwa, because this man called Makandiwa is very manipulative, super manipulative, and is very brutal. When we talk about brutality, Makandiwa is the godfather. What he did to this young lady, to this lady called Blessing, is something that is beyond imagination. Her full story is still yet to unfold. This is just a snippet which I brought about so that you can also relate to the recent one of this brother of ours who was demanding his tithes back from Paul and Enche.
I don't want to insult anybody. I don't want to make trouble with anybody. I just need all my tithes. Let's forget about the offering and the gifts that I give to churches.
We connect all the dots by looking at all the events that have happened in the past, just so that now we can make a statement, because we have reached a point of no return. We have reached a point of enough is enough. These men, these charlatans are not going beyond this point. This is the end of their story. This is the end of their operations. So we have to make our statements so bold so that they understand that we are at a point of no return. No one must ever be subjected to their manipulations and their forms of charlatanism. And how do we do that? We bring into perspective everything that has happened in the past. We bring all the victims that they've injured on their way to this epitome of their success. This young lady called Blessing experienced the brutality of this so-called prophet, Emmanuel Makandiwa, in its purest form. And Emmanuel Makandiwa is the spiritual son of another native doctor from Ghana called Kusi Boateng. Kusi Boateng, who is a spiritual son of this other Freemasonry leader called Duncan Williams. So now you can tell that the lineage, what they do is more or less the same. The son of a snake is also a snake. There's really no difference in their ways of operations. Recently, Kusi Boateng has been implicated in a big financial scandal in Ghana. His father, the Freemason leader, has been handing over souls to gullibles, initiating masses on a very large scale. Let's get back to the story of Blessing, which we are going to explore in detail, just so that you can understand. Steve Jobs says you can only connect dots by looking backwards. When you look backwards, that's when now you can now get a bigger picture of what has been happening. So when we bring these stories back in real time, is for those that are watching me today to understand how these men build their wealth. Some say they have businesses. These men have no businesses. These are criminals, pure criminals. Everything that they have today has been at the detriment of poor, gullible masses. I'm not saying poor in monetary terms. I'm saying poor spiritually. Zimbabweans are so gullible as well, just as Nigerians, just as any other people across Africa. They believe in this man called Emmanuel Makandiwa because they say he preaches so good. His messages are so hard-hitting. But everything that Makandiwa preaches about is heretic. Makandiwa has no idea of the true gospel of God. I might be wrong. He does know the true gospel of Christ, but he will never preach it because it will short-circuit his ability to manipulate masses into giving him money. Makandiwa worships the god of mammon. Makandiwa is so into money. He loves money. Everything he does is about money. There is no sermon that he gives without commanding his gullible followers to give him money. He is the one that also defends the doctrine of tithing with all that is in him. This young lady was robbed of more than $1 million US. $1 million US in cash. I'm not talking about figures that were, just someone that just came out with. These are figures that are backed up with evidence. This lady has all the proof, and I have all that proof of the money that she contributed to Emmanuel Makandiwa. So it came a time when she woke up. She realized that she was manipulated. She was brainwashed into giving all these huge sums of money to this shrine of Emmanuel Makandiwa in Zimbabwe. And she came out and said, Papa, can I have my money back? Can you please refund me everything that I've brought to your shrine? Because I did not do it in my right senses. And when the charlatan called Makandiwa heard about these demands, he took the lady to court. And he delayed everything. He manipulated everything and tried by all means to make sure that he does not pay this lady back her money. The things that he did in the process to sabotage justice for this lady, the things that he did. Some of the things he even went to the extent of trying to frame her with kidnap charges. My people, you don't understand this story. Allow me to start a fresh episode about this young lady and what she went through in the hands of Emmanuel Makandiwa, so that you get this whole thing in its true context. But her story is so heartbreaking. Her story is one of the stories that have given me the edge to start this enlightenment series. If you can go through her entire story and what Makandiwa did to this lady, my people, you will be broken and you'll never go to church again. You'll never attend any religious organization in your entire lives. For someone who has given $1 million US, maybe my Nigerian friends might not understand what we're talking about here. When we talk of 1 million United States dollars in nairas, it is 460,520,000 naira. These are profits from her business. These were profits from her business. Every profit she made from her business, she remitted it to Emmanuel Makandiwa's shrine, because that was the doctrine. That is the doctrine that these pulpit bandits preach. That come and provoke God so that things work for you. Come and give 10%, 20% of your profits, of your revenue, so that God can bless your businesses. But she has been giving and her business had been going down the hill like this. And when she reached the point of crashing, she went back to the very same spiritual father and asked for help. Papa, I have a complication. I need your assistance. Can you just borrow me 15,000? She was not asking for much. Just 15,000, 15,000 for someone who has invested millions. Just 15,000. I want to pay for my shipment that is coming from China and it's stuck at the border. If I don't get it now, it might be seized by the authorities. So please, can you assist me with 15,000? I don't have anyone else to cry to. I don't have anyone else that I can go and ask for this money. Please help me. What did Papa do? What did Papa do? What did Mama do? The prophetess, the wife to the Papa. They closed their doors on her. Told her to go away. They don't have such kind of money. But this is someone who has contributed more than $1 million in your establishment. We have supported your shrine for years. Isn't that heartbreaking? That alone, is it not heartbreaking? And most of you give to these shrines, just wait for the time when you need them to be there for you. And many of you have given to these shrines, just wait for the time when you also need them to support you. There will be nowhere to be found. They don't care about you. They don't care about anyone. They only care about themselves. They are in here for business. They are in here to make sure they'll milk you until you are dry. She was milked until she was dry. And when she went back to where she had invested her money, they told her to walk away, to turn her back and never come back. She's back on her feet now because she's no longer affiliated to any of the shrines. She's being successful. She's been successful. And this is a very good case study for most financial pillars of these shrines. Keep giving and keep giving, but just wait for your business to go down. You realize that these men, they have no heart, they have no conscience. So this story makes perfect sense if you relate it to the one of Paul and Enche, of this young man who came out demanding her tithes back. That, Papa, I don't want anything that has to do with heaven anymore. The heaven investments, can you please bring them back now to me, because now I'm broke. Now I need them more than any other time. Is Paul and Enche going to give that young man back his money? They have to. And all of you who have been giving to these shrines, don't you think don't you think you have to get your money back? Don't you think these pulpit bandits need to pay back the money? They have to. They should. Because they manipulated you. They robbed you. Do an audit of how much you've given to these shrines. Do it now, please. If you can, send me a message. Send me the proof. I have all the proof of the millions that were given to this native doctor from Zimbabwe called Emmanuel Makandiwa. And we are going to bring all those stories so that most of you can relate and understand where we are coming from and where we are going. Be aware, my people. Be awoke. These are businessmen. They do not have any pure interest to help you spiritually or in any other way. They are just here to take from you. They are becoming rich at your expense. You are robbing in your future whilst they are investing in the future of their children. Their kids are learning overseas. They are attending schools overseas. Your kids are suffering. You are even struggling to pay tuition for your children because you've taken 10 or 20% to the church. My people, when are you going to wake up? Wake the hell up, my people. Wake the hell up. With that being said, I'll check you out on the next episode of the Enlightenment Series. Mr. PDT. I'm out.